Doug's got the magic. Doug has got the magic.
Hey, Tim. I do have the magic, Tim.
Oh.
You've met me.
Hot damn, it's the Douglas.
Let's be real, we're banking these.
Yeah. I mean, continuity-wise, looks horrendous. I've got a new haircut.
Yeah, we're all over the shop. I'm going to put these out of order as well, so nothing we say is going to make any sense. We'll be referencing...
Please put this episode first so that my hair gets longer instantly.
Well, what I'm thinking about doing is I'll get the other episodes and I'll cut them up and I'll splice them all together. So we'll be talking about a band and then we'll pivot to talking about another band without naming them. There's been so many times...
Man bun, no man bun. Man bun, no man bun.
Well, I'll be listening to things like... I listen to podcasts when I do stuff like most people do. I'll be cleaning or whatever like that and I'll tune out for like a minute during something and tune back in and I'm like, we can't be still talking about the same thing. Like I've missed something. And so sometimes I'm like, have I skipped ahead like a whole 30 minutes or what's going on? So I want to do that. I want to gaslight our listeners.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Folks.
All three of our listeners are going to be really confused. And they'll be able to message me personally about it and say, Doug, what have you done?
Most of all, you're just gaslighting Brady.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm here to cook Brady's brain. Our fantastic editor that is he's giving his services to us for free,
gratis.
And here I am trying to make his life harder.
Nah, we love you, Brady.
Love you, Brady. All right, this week we're not doing the thing we've done the last couple of weeks where we go like we each bring a band. We're going to do a topic episode this week.
Yeah, we're going to stream of consciousness this thing.
We're just, because
off the top of the dome.
Right off the top of the dome, yeah. Whack the muck of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever cover that song in your
Freestyler by Bomb Funk on acoustic?
Yeah, it's doable.
It probably is doable, but no, that's so actually that's a good. I should give that a go. I should just do like a Rage to 1996 playlist.
Yeah, that'd be dude.
Yeah. Rage and video hits.
That'd
you ever
actually
notice
rule.
that we're already off topic, but you ever noticed that like the songs that they would play on video hits and Rage, they would be a certain crossover.
There was a crossover.
And that was one of them.
And then there was definite songs that are like, no, that's video hits, and there were definite songs, no, that's Rage.
Yeah, exactly
like,
right.
Tism, Rage.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And I'd be listening to like video hits and I'm like, because every Saturday it would be basically the same playlist for like a month or so.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, they didn't play that song today. Like, oh no, that was a Rage song.
Here's a crossover song for you that I think sits right in the pocket of that era.
Hit me.
Addicted to Bass, Josh Abrams.
Oh, absolutely.
Both.
Killer video clip as well.
Both. Like,
yeah.
Venn diagram, right in that.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So anyway, let's stop fucking this up. The topic today, you want to it was your idea, so you flesh it out for us.
I had this thought on the way over, and it was around that, like, I was thinking about like bands that I love from back in the day, and I was also trying to get out of heavy world because we talk a lot about heavy music, and I'm fine with that. But also, I think let's show off that we know a little bit more than just about heavy music.
Speaking about showing off, I would just really love to check that I hit record on that camera, Tim, because I'm so worried that they're not going to get to see our beautiful faces. No, we're all good. Sorry, right. We've changed our setup and I'm a little bit spooked. But continue.
So I was thinking about that. I just genuinely love Phil Collins.
Yeah,
and it's more around, and you know. And what I want to talk about today is not necessarily about Phil Collins' music per se, although I love Phil Collins' music.
I know you love Phil Collins' music because not only do I know that you own a bunch of Phil Collins music, but also I've seen that the Phil Collins tee that you have with the cut-off sleeves.
I reckon I'm the only one in the world who
with a Phil Collins cut-off.
Sleeves off, yeah. It's tough and naff all at once.
Yeah, no, it's got some real confused energy, that's for sure.
And I love wearing it to metal gigs.
Yeah.
But I like to think that the real people know, you know?
Yeah, you've got a staunch Phil Collins vibe.
Yeah, look, Liquor from Dead Letter Circus loves Phil Collins.
Right.
I mean, that's just a drummer thing. But
yeah.
So what I was thinking was, Phil Collins operated for the most part in the 80s, a little bit into the 90s. In the 90s was more his like composer era.
Yeah.
But certainly, you know, the majority, I mean, 70s he was in Genesis. Phil Collins as a individual performer, songwriter, producer, movie star.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur, operated mostly in the 80s. I wanted to talk about now through the ages, leading all the way up to 2024, who are those people in the music industry or in the, the music biz who have sort of that same energy, that, that multi-instrumentalist, there might be a vocalist, but maybe they're a multi-instrumentalist, they've, maybe they've also produced for other people, maybe they've, maybe they're composers now, maybe they're, maybe they've made the transition over into movies or TV, or definitely a celebrity almost.
Yeah.
And, or, maybe they've just made incredible business moves that have changed the music industry. So, I wanted to talk about, like, who are these sort of Phil Collins types, these, like, absolute, not even just jack of all trades, like master of all trades, like these people who are these, like, real sort of icons that make the difference.
Well, so, like, first of all, I think not the first one we came up with, but, like, I think one of the primest examples at the moment is Misha Mansour from Periphery. We talked about because,
just to bring it directly back to heavy music.
Well, but directly back to heavy music, but also, like, the fact that he's from the heavy music scene, but also, like, he is really into, like, video gaming culture.
I was going to say, I forgot that he had composed music for
Final Fantasy.
For Final Fantasy,
And also, I think there was a League of Legends soundtrack that came out recently he was on. And there's a couple of new things he's been on. But his background, when he started out on, like, the SoundClick days and it was just him being Bulb, he would write, all of these fragments of what became Periphery songs. But also he would do, like a covers of a Final Fantasy game or whatever. And he'd do all these, like, orchestral like compositions and stuff. And so it just makes sense that he went into doing video game music on the side, because for
it's
him,
a passion of his too, right?
Well, I think he would just be doing it whether they paid him or not.
Okay. Yep.
And I think that's true of most of all the people on the list that we've got, is they're the kind of people that are like, they just happen to have been successful and make a lot of money out of it. But, like, they'd
be doing it.
You can't stop them.
Yeah.
So he's a good one. And also, like, all of the side businesses, that he's got a Horizon Devices is like a pedal company. They make strings with progressive tension
too, right?
Or all of the signature models through Jackson and everything. So, like, there's a heap of stuff there, and that whole band as well. Like, Matt Halpin used to do like music teaching stuff, but, like, from the business and marketing side of things.
That's right. Yeah, you can sign up to his, like, web courses and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so he was doing business marketing for music, but he was also doing Band Happy. Do you remember Band Happy?
Whoa, that's a throwback.
So, like, okay, hey, here's this guitarist of this band that I really love. Man, I wish I could get a guitar lesson from them. Well, Matt Halpin made it so that if you're a touring musician, you could sign yourself up and say, hey, I allot this amount of time while I'm on tour to do lessons on Skype. And people could play with you, their favorite guitarist, for half an hour, and then you get paid. So, like, from a touring musician point of view, incredible business. I think it went kaput. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
But, like, the idea is solid.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So would you say the era that Misha sort of sits in is that 2000s, 2010s?
I think 2010s is, like, the real where all of it came
sweet
together.
Spot of it all, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. If you sort of go all the way back to the 90s, I would say, and I know, and I'm well aware of that, there have been memes made of that, like, Trent Reznor is the Phil Collins for goths.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely spot on.
Yep.
Because here's a guy who, started in one niche, and, actually started in, like, something far more pop and naff than what Nine Inch Nails ended up being. Like, he was, like, his early stuff is really, like, he was a keyboardist in something like a new wave type band.
New wave, or, like, it wasn't him that had, like, it wasn't hair metal, but I just remember seing a picture of him with,
very
like,
glam.
Bon Jovi hair.
Yeah, it was very glam, very, like, synth heavy pop. Yeah. And they were playing on, like, a late night show is the video I've seen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I remember someone sent me the video going, like, wow, he looks so different. And I was like, does he though? And they thought that they were talking about the singer, because they had never.
Right.
They thought of him as, oh, well, Trent Reznor's a front man. So
No.
I was like, no, that's not. I was like, no, that's him over there. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't look. It's like this guy was blonde, you know. I was like,
Yeah.
But also, you know, like if you look at the breadth of things that he's done, like, you know, even if just within Nine Inch Nails, like, you know, he really got stuck into that sort of composing, you know, sort of thing in the early 2000s with that Ghosts 1 through 4.
Right.
Like that was all instrumental stuff. That was very, very little on the vocal side.
And then
he sort of moved into composition to the point where he's won an Oscar.
Yeah, well, him and
for-
Atticus Ross, like,
Yeah.
yeah, but which one was the Oscar for The Social Network?
No. It's for a kids movie. It's for
Oh, did he do Soul?
yes, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch that interview
It's for
with them
an
a while
animated
ago.
film. Yeah.
Because they've done a lot, like
They also did the Watchmen TV series.
the Watchmen TV series.
Yeah.
They did The Social Network. They did the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the one with
That's
Daniel
right.
Craig
That
and
fits so well.
but
But now they're
whatever her name
doing
was.
the Tron Legacy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah,
no, Tron.
they already did the last Tron Legacy. Yeah.
No, that was
movie.
Daft Punk.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was Daft Punk. Now they're doing what's the new one? Tron. Whatever it is,
Forever or something.
but it's you know Jared Leto's in it, so whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Leto kind of fits on this thing as well, but we don't really want.
Well, I quick note about him. I had a friend a couple of nights ago that 30 Seconds to
30
Mars
Seconds to
played
Mars,
here.
yeah.
And he was like looking for something to do that night. And to be fair, it was a $200 ticket. Like it was a big impulse buy. But he's like,
Woof.
I really love like their old stuff and everything. I don't know what they're doing now, but like,
That's
I'm
going
sure
to be
it'll
about
a
a tenth of the show.
He's like, well, I'm sure it's going to be like a great show, like stuff that I'll go along just out of interest and go and see. And he was like, this was so disappointing. He's like, it was just really like he made the crowd do most of the singing.
Yes.
And I could have told him that if he'd asked me.
The couple of in fact, there was a competition that was run to get up and sing The Kill with him.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of like, can he even sing that song anymore?
I don't think he can.
I don't think he can.
I don't think
so.
he can.
Yeah.
Jared Leto doesn't belong on this list.
Nah.
Jared Leto doesn't belong a lot of places, but he just seems to hang about like a bad smell. So
Agreed. And so yeah, like I think if you look at Trent Reznor, like the longevity of his career is now maybe even like coming up to or equivalent to the sort of length of time that Phil Collins sort of reigned supreme.
I mean, shit, like was it 89 that Head Like a Hole came out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's
yeah.
the guy's crossed like that's 3 decades now that he's been a part of. So
90s? No, it's more.
Well, I mean,
90s, 2000s, 2010s,
yeah.
the teens.
Yeah,
Now
right.
that's the 5th decade he's entered.
Yeah, that shit's wild. But so that's interesting though how like artists like that get a new life because Nine Inch Nails hasn't like it's basically over, right? Or it's
they
long-term
still do,
hiatus.
Yeah. Well, I think they played a festival sometime last year.
Yeah. It's a band that like comes out of the box occasionally,
Yeah.
But
I would say the majority of his time is spent on projects like
doing film
Tron
scores and
stuff
stuff
like that, yeah.
Which is interesting because so one of the people on my list for this, again, heavy music, but like there's a crossover here. So Ben Wyman from Dillinger is a guy that Dillinger Escape Plan, when he started it, he was all about like, he's got this new thing that he's doing and he's trying to get it out to as many people as he can, but really it's like no compromise on the music to get the fan base. It was like, here's what the music is. It's very intense. It's very extreme.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm doing and like this is my main focus and goal. And at one point, I think around when Mike Patton had joined Dillinger Escape Plan, so like after their first album.
Why did I not know that?
Mike Patton was in Dillinger Escape Plan for one EP.
Whoa.
Yep. So they had their calculating.
Why haven't I listened to that?
Well, you should.
I should.
Yeah. It's called
Mike Patton.
Yeah.
Why isn't Mike Patton on this list?
Mike Patton should be on this list. But so by proximity to Mike Patton, so they had Calculating Infinity was their first like it's their seminal album, the one that's on all the lists and everything. Like that's what broke them out. But then after that, their vocalist left, and so they had an interim where Ben had met, I think they went on tour with Mr. Bungle at one point. And so he was like, hey.
Christ, that's an epic tour.
Would you be interested? And Mike Patton was like, yeah, you guys are sick. I'll do some stuff with you. And so they recorded an EP with him. And around that time, Ben got the call up to go through a friend of his to go and audition for Nine Inch Nails. Right? So he was like going to audition to be like the backup guitarist for Nine Inch Nails.
Holy shit.
And so he went and he did the audition, but Trent wasn't there, I don't think.
Okay.
And so he did the audition with the other guys and they were like, yeah, okay, that's sweet and everything like that. And they're like, okay, sweet. And obviously you'd have to give up your other band to do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, no, because Dillinger is my main thing. Like that's me. And they're like, well, no, if you're in Nine Inch Nails, like, it's fucking Nine Inch Nails. Like, this is your job now. Everything else is not important. And he was like, I won't do that. But then in the years after turning that down, he has started doing film scores himself. He's done like music classes. He manages Kimbra. And that's
I was almost going to pitch the idea of Kimbra being on this list, but I'm not certain. I think she's got maybe 2 of the 5 things we've kind of...
Well, there's a crossover there as well. So Ben Wyman does film scores. He does music management. He's got an in-print label on Sumerian Records called Party Smasher Inc. And so he's got same thing. He's got all of this business acumen that goes with the music industry, but he applies it to the music industry because that's what he loves to do. Yeah. And him unleashed in like, I don't know, Wall Street, he'd probably kill it, but he's not interested in that. And so the crossover there, he manages Kimbra, but one of the other people on the list was Gautier.
Yes. Yeah, well, I was going to bring it over to Australia. I was going to say, we've talked about all these bands and artists and whatever from overseas. Who do we think, we have these kind of minds in Australia, and certainly Gautier, I mean, the guy hasn't had to release any music for so many years, and he's probably still one of the, probably still got one of the biggest incomes in Australia.
Probably.
Just from that one song. And I know he kind of dudded himself out of some royalties by not clearing a couple of melodies and whatever that he used in that song, but
that'll happen.
He's still
killing it,
still raking it in. But I think as well, like his, like him being like the kind of producer that he is, the kind of artist that he is, that the drummer that he's one of the most incredible, accomplished drummers you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, right.
He's like, that's his first love, drums. And I'd love to see the crossover of like producers and drummers. I think there's a huge bank of people who are drummers who have made.
Misha from Periphery was a drummer before he was a vocalist. Before he was a vocalist,
guitarist.
He's a vocalist on one song. Periphery have one song that he did back in the day called "I Lost My Lunch in My Pants," and he sings on that. So if you ever want to hear that, you can go check that out. But yeah, no. Drumming, I think, is like a massive basis for.
But he was also in the
music.
Basics as well. Like he was in another band.
Oh yeah, fucking hell.
And he's given a lot of his time to do workshops and that sort of stuff over the years as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure now he's still probably ghost songwriting for people as well. Like I'm sure whatever label he's on has just got him on tap for songwriting for people.
Well, something that I brought up before, I know it's off the Australia thing, but Benny Blanco is getting to be a pretty well-known music producer and songwriter, but he has been forever. It's just people didn't know who he was. But I was talking about how there was a story that he was telling where in one day he was in a studio complex that had 3 studios going. One of them had Snoop Dogg recording California Dreams for Katy Perry. The next studio, they were writing Teenage Dream. California Girls, Teenage Dream, and then there was a Kesha song that was like her 3rd single or something, and they all end up being platinum songs. But this guy was working on all 3 of them and going between these studios because think
about that as one day of work.
Yeah.
That will pay you for the rest of your life.
100%. And he was like 19 at the time when he was working in these studios.
But that's one day. He could never work again and he'd still be fine.
And that's the thing is, since then he's done songwriting with Ed Sheeran. They wrote They wrote, what did they write? Love Yourself on a Whim for Justin Bieber. He wrote with Mike Posner, Boyfriend, which was also a Justin Bieber song. He's been in a bunch of stuff. But the reason I bring him up is that I find it so interesting that the way that he describes songwriting is, it's just easy. It's just whatever flows out. And you'll just know when you've got the thing right, and you'll be able to, put it out. And I would say let's say 30-40% of the songs he's written have ended up being platinum hits. Gautier, I know that he would have had label backing and everything, but I put it to you that people like Benny Blanco, once he's finished that song, he goes, here you go, label, we've done that. And then they've got this massive global network to just send it out, and everyone gets to hear it. They call it, what are they calling it? It's not popping, but there's a word for when you first play the song, you want to do that on a bunch of different radio stations all on the same day or whatever, and get it into everyone's ears globally. And then once someone's heard a song 3 or 4 times, regardless of whether it's excellent or not, people become familiar, and then it becomes a hit. So you don't need much. But in Gautier's case, from what I understand, it was YouTube that got him that pop, because people could share it around and everything. And it was at the time when just that video just kept echoing.
Yeah. I remember at the time, somebody that I used to know came out. I was teaching music business at Mount Gravatt TAFE.
Yeah.
And I had a class full of students, most of them very young, and one 50-year-old guy.
Can I just say you've got big TAFE teacher energy, and I mean that as a massive compliment.
I was cool teacher for sure. Have you? Oh, tangent. There's
are we calling them now? We just all right. We're gonna have to get a card to hold up. There's a red card.
There's a great episode of What We Do in the Shadows that I watched the other night where Colin Robinson. You know about Colin Robinson, the character? He's an energy vampire.
Yeah, I know the guy.
And so he drains people's life force.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best drains that you can do is the cool teacher.
Yeah.
And he's just always sitting on the desk, and he's just talking about music and shit like that, and people are falling asleep in front of him, and he's just he's just loving life.
Trying to be cool and casual, but also just super boring at the same time.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. He thinks he's really interested. Well, he's putting out this idea that he thinks this is really interesting, and everyone's just
Can I say big TAFE teacher energy? What I mean by that is someone who is both passionate and energetic about the thing they're doing, but also can show you how to apply it.
Yeah.
So I would the comparison between TAFE teacher energy and uni lecturer energy is uni lecturer energy is here is the information, and
but I've never done it in real life.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, a physics teacher or something like that. They can be passionate about the thing, but really it's let's all explore these concepts together. Whereas TAFE teacher, I mean, me being a Sparky when I was in TAFE teacher is here's the science, and then let's do an experiment to show you how it works, and that's the shit that lights them up. So I imagine you would have been great at it.
I mean, if you speak to those people, I'm still friends with a lot of them on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
They'd say they had a great time.
Do we have an tangent card?
Yeah, I was going to say, and we're back. So where was I?
If I cut all the tangents out, this will be a 10-minute podcast.
Gautier. I was teaching at TAFE, and it came out, and I said, watch this song in about 2 weeks' time. This will be number one.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there it was. And they came back in the following week, and they were just you were right. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing song. The film clip was spot on. It hit in a moment where it was, the zeitgeist was right. Kimbra was just popping off. She wasn't, she was touring and she was doing fine and she was doing amazing things. And we talked about Kimbra. We both love what she does.
Yeah.
And, she was just famous enough for that, but it also elevated her presence as well.
There's a lot to be said as well for the people, like the kind of people we're talking about that are both musicians and producers, and they've got the business sense and everything. Like, it feels shitty and calculated to be just like, oh, well, you pick, like it was a calculated move to pick her specifically. But more than anything, these people have a really good nose for the right person for the job. And so that would have been, probably someone that he just wanted to work with anyway, but intrinsically has picked the right person to fit the picture of what he's trying to make,
Sure.
like, because anyone could have done that. But, like, if he'd have actively gone and got, let's say, Katy Perry or someone like that to do that, not that he would have been able to, but the vibe would have been totally off. It was the fact that it was someone that was semi-unknown that made it work. But none of us know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's intrinsically the artist's nous.
On the Australian side of things, keeping it there, like, I actually think probably the couple, other than Gautier in Australia, that fit this banner of what we're talking about here are, women or non-males. And I think, one that comes to mind in the, like, really, like, now time is G Flip.
Yeah.
Started as a drummer, produces and sings on her own stuff, produces for other people, collaborates with other people, has become somewhat of a celebrity in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And, as now just a part of the zeitgeist. And, and I think they're making really incredible business moves for themselves. And
also, like, the sponsorships and stuff, because didn't they do... It was a car ad or something like that. That was like a massive drum. So maybe it was a phone ad.
Yes, yeah.
And like
just recently,
massive drum setup and everything. And it was like this really high. But for someone that came from just like festival and music stuff, and then to be able to jump straight into like those big sort of ad spaces. And
some of those ads are naff. Like there was one that came out recently. It was like, it was Twisties. There was a Twisties thing where they were trying to create. And I watched it on Gruen. They were talking about how the ad just didn't work. It was like chicken twisties versus cheese twisties. And they were doing this, like, they were trying to, I guess, get into that zeitgeist of the elections are on in the US. And they were having, like, Robert Irwin was the guy for the chicken twisties, and G Flip was the person advocating for the other one, cheesed ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And, but also, like, if it's not going to hurt your brand overall, get that money so you can make the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're so past the, like, oh, you sold out, man. Like,
absolutely.
The Kid Leroy, someone like that, taking that money from McDonald's, like, I hated seeing it.
Yeah.
But, like, take that money.
Yeah.
And go and make the music you want to make.
Embed yourself.
Yeah. Like, and the fact that his fan base did not give a fuck that he was doing a McDonald's ad, like, good for you.
Well, also half of them lap it up. I mean, you look at like the Travis Scott one, and I think who's the other one that did one?
Justin Timberlake did a McDonald's ad.
He did. Yeah,
he
did
the
Yeah, well, that was one of his songs, right?
Oh, yeah, it was too.
That was.
He must have just lent that to it. Okay, and it's become. Oh my god, he went fuck.
Yeah.
Hater.
He
Christ.
licensed that, and like. I know that. So you used to do this. You used to do the when you were doing marketing stuff, you would get people sync on the footy and stuff, right? Yeah. And so that's a bit different because you're trying to get like smaller, heavier bands to try and get them on, and because you
find the one or two places where that can happen.
Yeah, or like
it's so rare in Australia.
Here's this band that like this whole song that they've got is too heavy except for like this one bridge part, and it might not even have any vocals or anything on it. Man. And let's get that on the footy at the very least. And so they get their name flashed up. And
no one will ever know. This is here's an inside scoop story that you may never know. Hopefully 12 Foot Ninja don't hate me for saying this, but they okayed the edit, so I'm good with it. I got them on the AFL on Friday Night Footy.
Yeah.
And it was the song with Tatiana from Ginger.
Yeah, Over and Out.
Over and Out.
Yeah.
That was the song that
I'm a 12 Foot fan.
Yeah. But really and truly, the only section of that song that worked was the chorus. The rest of it's so heavy.
Yeah.
And so I just looped the chorus.
Yep.
And it was seamless.
Yeah.
I was so proud of that. I was like, I hate that I'm cutting up this masterpiece here.
Yeah, but
like I looped this thing so seamlessly.
And you got them paid?
And well, I mean, on the back end, like they get the APRA and PPCA royalties.
Yeah, right.
12 months later or whenever the next round of payments comes out.
But you get the chorus of your song
fee.
on national TV.
Correct. And there's no upfront fee that you get for that particular thing, but you get, and it's primetime TV, Friday night, and, your name and everything's on the...
It's nothing to sniff at. And it also doesn't degrade your brand, like you say, because not. It's, look at Parkway now. They're effectively like they're a Metallica kind of dad metal band, right? Like that's what they do now, and that's fine. They do stadium shit. But like that, to me, I would say that that's fundamentally changed their brand because... they've changed all of their music, but with the 12-foot thing, it's like, well, this is the thing they were already doing. They happen to be on the footy. They're not writing songs for the footy.
Correct. I put it to you, though, that it hasn't changed their brand because their brand is Byron Boy's done good.
Yeah.
And that means whatever height of success they're at, it's like good for you guys. It's not like, but I mean, there are plenty of people that are like, I saw them in Byron School Hall in 2005, and they're just so different now. They're sold out. Like, my God,
I'm not even...
Be happy for some people who have made a difference to the cultural landscape of Australia and heavy music in general.
Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to get into the debate on Parkway because honestly, I was never a fan in the first place. And I say that not like I don't like them, but I mean like when I was growing up, I had mates that were like sweated Parkway and I was just like, yeah, they're cool. I just never clicked for me. So like I have no personal like... It doesn't personally affront me the fact that they are what they are now. I'm just like, yeah, cool, go get the bag, like whatever. I have no horse in that race.
No horse in the race, exactly.
But I would say that like with 12-foot, for example, you taking that chorus and looping the thing that was already catchy, and a band that has a lot of songs, they have a lot of like melodic shit going on.
I so would have pitched something else for it, but that happened to be the song that was out that week, and it worked for that campaign,
Yeah.
There was so many other songs that we could have put without having to do an edit, but that was the song. And
so another person, like again, it's less broad than the Phil Collins thing, but just talking about writing music.
Okay.
I saw an interview with Meghan Trainor a while ago.
Oh, cool.
So Meghan Trainor writes a lot of songs in the back end for people. And so one of the things that she said was the song that she got really big on, All About That Bass, was a demo that she sent through with a bunch of other songs. And it was just something that they kind of wrote. And she was like, I don't really love that. But they sent it through with a bunch of demos. And the studio came back and they went, that's the song. That's your single. Wow. And she's like, I don't really like that song. And they're like, no, that's the single. It's going to do well. We're going to send that out. But then what she did, do you need to take this?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool. What she did was she'd sent them through a demo where like the track was done, I think, but the vocals were demo vocals. And that's what they fucking used.
Wow.
They printed that. That is the song on the radio, is the one with the demo vocals. And so she said that she's like, look, now I've got to sing that song every night when I do a thing, but like I'm grateful because that song got me over the line to make the money and put me where I am now to do what I'm doing. So like to me, it's sort of my brand was founded on that and I'm okay with it, but like I wouldn't have chosen to make that the flagship of my career, but it's still in her brand and it's something that she appreciates. But it'd be different if she was like trying to write folk music and then she came out and she did like fucking a Kesha song or something and then it changed her whole trajectory and now she has to go and do something different because that's what she got famous for. And I think that's what's interesting with people like all the people we've talked about. They cross genres and they do a bunch of different stuff because their brand isn't a particular sound because they only do music. I'm only a singer. I only have a particular brand. Their brand is I'm a musician and I do music for a living, whatever that means to whoever I'm doing it for.
I wonder if the ultimate king and queen, and we haven't brought up this person I'm going to name as the queen here, of that sort of the reigning person sitting in the lane, in the Phil Collins lane, is we've got Trent Reznor, I think, who's
Yep.
the most sort of broad thing of that. But Lady Gaga
Yeah.
is the other.
Yep.
Is the sort of, longevity in her career, because she's been going since the sort of early 2010s now. So we've got like 15, 16 years on, about 15 years on her now.
Yeah.
And no, even like her first song was like 2008 or something, probably earlier than that. But
Yeah.
ones that really started to hit was like 2008.
Would have been, yeah.
Has crossed over into film, has written for film, has entrepreneurial things. She's got products out there, and she's got fragrances and what have you. Potentially, like that's the other ultimate side of it.
It'd be a mix between Lady Gaga and Sia. So Sia,
was
not so
going to
much
bring
with the
that up,
acting
yeah.
and stuff, but Sia is just like, she is a
As a
music
songwriter
industry
and producer,
person
yeah.
just as much as she is a front woman, like she's and like she's directed a film, but that wasn't so well received.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the one
wasn't
about the
received well,
autistic.
was it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'd say points for effort.
The autistic girl. Sorry, I just said the one about the autistic.
Ooh, finish that sentence, Doug.
Those autists. Yeah.
Finish that sentence, Doug.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave that one hanging.
But yeah, like, I think great intention.
And it was
there.
called You Oughta Know.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, God, order.
A-U-T oughta. Yeah, no, bad joke. We
I
can
was,
cut
like,
that
sitting
out.
there,
There'll
like,
be a little skip in this episode.
I was thinking about it, and it hit me so late. Oh, God.
Love you guys. I love you guys. I like
all my neurospicy people.
all my neurospicy people. They're all my favorite fucking people.
Absolutely.
That one's for you. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah. Crying with you as well. But yeah, look, those kind of people fascinate me in that, there's just such like, and I don't just mean like people are like, you've got to get on the grind, like, it's like, no. These are people, it seems to me like these things flow really effortlessly through them, and they've been able to harness them rather than, these are just like, got to get out there and get that bread, like.
I've always said that
obviously they've got nous about them, but it's.
Well, it's that,
it's not
and it's like Tarantino as a different sort of example. You see a lot of stuff with him talking about what he does, and you realize that someone like that who like, I mean, Quentin Tarantino's definitely got to be on the spectrum for a start, like 110%.
Without doubt.
But so he was going to do what he was going to do regardless of whether he was going to get paid for it. Like, he just wanted to do that.
Kevin Smith
Same as well.
example.
It's just like, credit card debt me so I can go do the thing.
Yeah.
But those people just wouldn't know how to not do that thing. But him being a director, I think, is really interesting, because not only does he write, but he also directs. And you would think that directing is like managing, right? But like, what are usually neurospicy people aren't very good at managing because they're focused on the thing they want to do. Directing is different in that you're not managing people, you're bringing an idea to the table and you're trying to get a whole bunch of people together that are good at their respective craft and
see that same image. Yeah.
It's your job to communicate the vision to them in such a way that they can execute it. So I put it to you that a lot of these producers and music people that are prolific that we like,
of course, it's the same process.
They're drawing in and surrounding themselves with all these people, because like Phil Collins, wouldn't have necessarily been the guy going out and heading the marketing campaigns and all the shit.
No.
He's the guy that makes the raw material and then gets everyone else in to help him do shit. And all of these musicians will be like that.
From what I've read about Genesis, he was the engine room of that band too.
Yeah.
Like, and even before he was the vocalist, when he was the drummer,
yeah,
a lot of the production and songwriting and whatever was him, and get Peter Gabriel just kind of singing weird shit over the top. But
yeah.
And like, that could be really reductive of Peter Gabriel. Like, I love his solo stuff too. I think he's great. But like, from what I've read, like, Phil Collins really, when it was time for him to step up into the vocalist spot, he was like, "Oh, I didn't expect to find myself here, but I'll do it."
Yeah. But I would put to you that in the music world, producer, as in like the guy at the desk, like, you know, that is the director. Because if you're doing your own music, so if someone else comes in and it's their band and you're just producing their band, they're bringing you the vision and you're trying to do the thing. But still, as a producer, your job is to then take their vision and reflect it back to them and be like, okay, so this is what you're telling me you want. This is what I think, like, how we get there. But also, like, have you thought about this?
Because the other side of that coin is that the producer might not even be the person at the board. You've got a producer and a recording engineer there. Like,
is it Rick Rubin that, like, I don't even think he technically doesn't know a whole bunch of stuff about producing, right? I think that his thing generally is he's the guy in the room that's curating.
You play this, you play that, drop a bit of that out of that, you know, drop that frequency or whatever.
I don't even think he has an instrument from memory. I heard there was an interview with him a while ago that I saw.
He's just like an insane music fan.
Yeah, I think it's really just he's the guy that's just... He's
a phenomenal amount of hits for
giving advice.
It's a phenomenal amount of hits for that.
Yeah. Where are we at?
I think we're
40
probably
minutes.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this enough. We've discovered a lot more people here that I think we set out to discuss.
Absolutely.
And like, there's not a name amongst all of this that I'm not like, oh, I'm in awe of those people and how, like, the breadth of what they do and like, it's incredible.
Just prolific people. And like, I think that's the kind of people that, you know, everyone obviously looks up to, but specifically myself, I look up to people like that because there's at any given time, there's like 4 or 5 different things that I want to try to be the best at because I'm interested in so many things, and I envy the people that are able to just really ratchet in on like one thing and do it really well, but then be able to follow on and pick another thing and like sequentially or all at the same time do all those things. The ability to execute and to publish is as important, if not more important, than the ability to do in the first place.
Knowing when to call time and go, right, that's done and we're moving on to another thing now.
Yeah.
Rather than just work on it infinitely.
Yeah. Because pointing fingers, I know exactly what it's like to be prolific in making things and then for those things to sit on a hard drive somewhere or to start a thing that is going to go really well and then there's a hiccup and it gets backburned and then you never get back to that thing. And
have you got anything that you would say is like, all right, that's 99% done? That you could just put on Spotify right now, today.
Yeah, pretty much. I got a couple things like that. But then, so the other half of it is matching. I
wonder if there's an experiment we could do there where it was like, put something on your Spotify.
Yeah.
Just done.
Yeah.
Like give it, give it a name and then just...
I think everyone's doing that experiment every day and it's not working out so well for them.
You're also... I'm just talking about just cold. You're not even trying to push a band or anything like that.
This is why half of that stuff sits on the hard drive, though, is because then the next part of it is, hey, let's put the thing out and then let's back it up. And I mean, you know what it's like from doing band PR and stuff like that. There's a lot of work then goes into launching a thing.
I'd be interested to see like no PR, just a little bit of marketing spend and actually put it in front of people who might dig it and see the growth. And just put out a song a month. Because you'd have songs there that are like nearly done, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of songs that I'm just waiting on drums. The drummer from Burial Pit and Low actually is doing the drums for these few songs that I've got that I've had in the bank for about 8 years.
When you say low, do you mean L-O apostrophe?
L-O
exclamation mark?
Yeah.
Not L-O-E from Bundaberg?
No, not Low from Bundaberg, no. Right. No. But yeah, like, this is the thing is, I have a lot of respect for these people.
Are you spending money on getting him to do that?
Yeah, it's not finalised yet, but yeah, absolutely.
And you should absolutely release that.
Well, yeah, like I said, everything gets stalled and
don't you let that sit on a hard drive, Doug.
Well, this is this chat has inspired me to go and chase that up again today. I think, yeah, because I've backburned it for a while. He was busy and I was busy and everything. So, but yeah, to round out the chat, if you are listening and you've got someone that you think matches this description,
this
is Crime Stoppers now. If you see a man, if you see anyone that fits this description,
1-800-333-000.
Yeah. Well, what's Pit? Let's get the calculator out and let's work out what PitchShift is in phone numbers. and then we'll set that phone number up. No, yeah, look, I'd be
Yeah, hit
interested to
us with
see
a
if
list
there's
of
anyone
who-
that we missed. We definitely
Yeah.
missed a lot of people,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like who, not even in the music space even necessarily.
Yeah, who
Who's
are
someone that's prolific? Childish Gambino comes to mind.
Ah,
But he's,
it's absolutely Childish Gambino. God
Yeah.
damn it.
but like, we won't go into that today because I think I'll save that for an episode where we
He's
compare
the
artists.
ultimate.
Because Childish Gambino's coming to an end.
Yeah, but he's still going to do music, but as Donald Glover, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like that persona's coming to an
Yeah.
end. So like that's a chat
I
for
love
another
that.
day.
And the less said about Kanye West, the better.
Oh man, that's a huge disappointment, man. I was a big Kanye fan back in the day, and just over the years, it's like it was slowly dropping off for me, and then it just plummeted. he just like was it Lemmings? He just did the lemming dance and ran straight off the cliff. But no,
Anyway, hit us with your suggestions, and we'll see you next time.
yeah, hell yeah. And so, yeah, going forward, I think we might chuck some wedges in with. We've got our back and forth with the band thing. Like, we'll bring a band in each, but then sometimes it's nice to just have a chat about a topic. So if you've got any topic ideas, like we've got a couple of other sort of, broad ones like this we want to do. But if you've got any topic ideas or things you want to hear about, you know where to
Hit us.
find me. 1-800, whatever the numbers are for PitchShift that doesn't exist. Just DM us.
That's a long
please.
ass phone number.
Yeah. All right. Bye.